The air was thick with humidity that night. The city of Atlanta, alive, restless, moved as it always did, unaware that in the shadows of Spark Street, something unspeakable was about to unfold. It was just after midnight when the first call came in. Gunshots, screams, the kind of chaos that sends a shiver down a seasoned officer's spine. When authorities arrived, they found 3 boys lying in the street, their young lives forever altered or stolen altogether. 13-year-old Lamont Freeman never saw his next birthday. 12-year-old Jacody Davis, his best friend, died hours later in the hospital. Their young brother, Dontavius, survived. But survival in a war like this doesn't mean escape. This wasn't random. This wasn't senseless. It was calculated, cold, and it was just the latest chapter in a war that had been simmering for years.
Atlanta police are blaming the actions of a local rapper for the shooting deaths of 2 13-year-olds.
In a news conference this afternoon, the department announced it's made 7 arrests in the shooting and is still offering $50,000 in reward money for information that leads to more.
The overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster that left 2 of our children in graves and a community in fear. And cowardly acts of an Atlanta-based rapper that decided to go over into a rival gang stronghold and shoot a music video in a place that he knew he should not have been.
Tonight, 11 Alive has confirmed rapper Lil Baby is named in arrest warrants in the shooting deaths of 13-year-olds Lamont Freeman and Jacody Davis. The shooting happened last summer in the Oakland City West End apartments on Peoples Street. Police described it as gang violence escalated by a Lil Baby music video shoot. Investigators say members of the Goodfellas gang orchestrated the attack from behind bars using a contraband cell phone.
2 names kept coming up in the investigation: 4PF and OMF, rival gangs, each with blood on their hands, each with a reason to want the other wiped from the streets. 4PF, 4 pockets full, allegedly tied to the Grammy-nominated rapper Lil Baby, a name spoken in equal parts reverence and fear, a man whose music had lifted him from the streets, but whose past still clung to him like a curse. OMF, Only My Family, a faction of something even larger, something more sinister. The Goodfellas, a network that moved like a ghost through Atlanta's underbelly, pulling strings, making men disappear, and ensuring that debts, whether in money or in blood, were always paid. But this was more than just gang politics. This was personal. It went back to 2021. The murder of Marcus Big Mark Holland, a name that meant everything to 4PF, a name that OMF had erased. Since then, bodies have fallen on both sides, each one a message, a warning, a promise of more to come. And then came July 2nd. Surveillance footage would later reveal the eerie choreography of the killers. 2 vehicles, a white Nissan Maxima, a gray Nissan sedan. They circled the apartment complex twice before stopping. 6 men stepped out, armed, ready. They knew exactly what they were there to do and who they were waiting for, but they got it wrong. The Davis brothers had left their apartment for a reason so painfully innocent, to wish their friend Lamont Freeman a happy birthday. In the dark, in the humid quiet of Spark Street, they never saw it coming. The first shots rang out, then more, a rain of bullets echoing through the complex. When it was over, the ground was littered with shell casings, 5.56, 7.62, 223 caliber rounds, military-grade firepower, weapons meant for war, not children.
Live at 5, 7 people behind bars charged in a shooting that left 2 teenagers dead in Atlanta.
Investigators say members of a hyper-violent street gang are behind the shooting deaths of 13-year-olds Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman last summer.
Atlanta News First reporter Joshua Skinner joining us live at 5 from the scene of that shooting in Atlanta's Oakland City neighborhood. Joshua?
Yes, police announcing today, as you said, those 7 arrests. 2 of them were made today in relation to the double murder that took place here at the Sparks Apartments back on July 2nd, 2024. And since then, thousands of man-hours have gone into making those arrests, but authorities say the work is not quite complete. Police say it was a gang hit gone wrong.
Grown men playing gangster that left 2 of our children in graves.
Just after midnight on July 2nd, 2024, 13-year-olds Lamont Freeman and Jacody Davis, as well as 11-year-old Dontavius Davis, were shot outside this apartment complex in southwest Atlanta while celebrating Freeman's birthday.
Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes.
Today, police announced 7 arrests associated with the Goodfellas gang. Richard Hollis, Ali Caldwell, Reginald Thomas, Marcus Crawford, Keontae Sanders, DeKeithion Mabel, and Traydon Crawford.
These individuals that committed the crime here on July 2nd were dangerous individuals that, if allowed to remain free on the streets of Atlanta, Georgia, were going to use guns again to harm.
Police say the shooting was ordered by a high-ranking member of the Goodfellas from an illegally obtained phone at the Hancock State Prison, sparked by a rap music video filming in a rival gang's territory. Police did not identify the rapper involved. However, a Lil Baby music video was being shot in the area near the time of the shooting.
You know who you are. And I tell you that this team will work relentlessly to hold you and the persons that you are affiliated with responsible.
That info was obtained by the APD Gangs Unit. But with the final arrests just taking place, it's been a slow, thorough process.
These kids were innocent victims.
Now, the FBI was also involved in this. They're still offering the APD a $50,000 reward for any more information that leads to more arrests in this shooting. APD said, by the way, more than 5,000 man-hours went into this case, and more still likely to come.
Atlanta reeled in the wake of the murders. The streets whispered names, theories, secrets, traded in hushed tones. But for the police, the puzzle pieces were starting to fit together. 7 gang members were taken into custody, names tied to past violence, past murders. And then there was the name that sent the shockwave through the city, Lil Baby. The press conference was tense. APD Homicide Commander Ralph Woolfolk didn't mince words. He spoke of cowardice, of reckless decisions, of an Atlanta rapper who had chosen the wrong place to shoot a music video, sparking something uncontrollable. They wouldn't say his name outright, but they didn't have to. Investigators combed through intercepted phone calls, online threats, messages exchanged between gang leaders. The name Keontae Midnight Sanders surfaced, a puppet master orchestrating revenge from behind prison walls. A man who, even locked away, still had the power to make bodies drop. They found the white Nissan Maxima weeks later, abandoned, hidden in a parking deck. Inside, forensic evidence linked to the previous shootings, each one another bloody footprint in the ongoing war.
Atlanta police now blame the deaths of 2 Atlanta teens last summer on a violent street gang in our community. Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News at 5. I'm Tom Haynes.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Just hours ago, APD announced they now have charged 7 people with the murders. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert is live at Atlanta Police Headquarters to tell us what we're finding out. Tyler?
Yeah, Courtney, good evening to you. Investigators say 2 13-year-olds were innocent victims caught in a gang retaliation shooting while celebrating a birthday.
The overall theme of this case is grown men playing gangster.
Atlanta police say these are the innocent faces of gang violence in Atlanta. 2 of them, 13-year-old boys Jacody Davis and Lamont Freeman, were killed. And 11-year-old Dontavius Davis was wounded last July in a shooting on Spark Street. APD says Freeman was killed on his 13th birthday.
Lamont Freeman was allowed to be a 13-year-old for 27 minutes. Before gang violence ultimately took his life.
During an afternoon news conference, investigators blamed the deadly shooting on a local rapper. They said the attack was in retaliation for the rapper entering a rival gang's territory to film a music video.
In the subsequent days, we saw homicides and shootings, and ultimately the deaths of 2 children as a result of his cowardly actions, and you know who you are.
Authorities say a high-ranking member of the Goodfellas gang who was incarcerated orchestrated the attack using a smuggled cell phone. Following those instructions, the suspects opened fire at an apartment complex where the 3 young teens were gathered to celebrate Freeman's birthday. Police say they weren't the targets.
These kids were innocent victims. So when we talk about the gang involvement, these 2 13-year-olds and this 11-year-old, they didn't have a gang involvement.
Those arrested were identified as Keontae Sanders, Richard Hollis, Reginald Thomas, DeKeithion Mobley, Marcus Crawford, Tradon Crawford, and Allie Caldwell. The final 2 were arrested Tuesday. Police had some tough talk for those responsible.
Goodfellas Criminal Street Gang being one of the most hyper-violent gangs in the city of Atlanta, and we will pursue you relentlessly in making sure that we keep this city safe and suppressing violence.
And the investigation continues. There is a $50,000 reward for information about this case.
But the biggest question remained: who gave the order? Some say it was all part of a larger plan, a hint meant for someone else. John J. Shot Smith, a known 4PF affiliate, had been the real target. The boys were just in the wrong place at the worst possible time. But others believe the truth is even darker. A confidential informant claimed one of the hitmen, DeKeithion J-Man Mobley, had been hunting bigger prey. He wanted Lil Baby himself, but a man of that stature, that status, he was untouchable. So, in the heat of the moment, with adrenaline pumping and fingers on triggers, they took what they could, and it cost 2 children their lives. Atlanta has seen violence before. It has buried sons and daughters, mourned lost futures. But this was something different. The deaths of Lamont Freeman and Jacody Davis sparked outrage. But will it be enough? The city has nearly 128,000 gang members, 2,000 gangs. A war that doesn't stop just because the headlines fade. Authorities say they'll hold everyone responsible. The killers, the men who sent them, even the ones who stood by and let it happen. But in Atlanta's underworld, justice is never clean, and it's never over. As the sun rises over Spark Street, the city holds its breath, because everyone knows this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of something even worse. Alright y'all, and there y'all have it. That's the story of Lil Baby with this Atlanta gang war that's going on. Hey, get in that comment section. You already know what it is, man. Hey, drillers and trappers, we out here trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!